It is a lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV World News broadcast. To present it, my name is Liseli Kanyanga Movanga. A look at the headlines. Corruption-accused Chitalu Chilufya appears in court. Opposition leader says there is no wind of change as he maintains support for PF. NDC and UPND fielded separate candidates in Chiengi Council election. And in international news, Ivory Coast Prime Minister Amadou Gon Coulibaly dies aged 61. And in sports news, Kamanga launches high-level goalkeeping course for clubs. Do join me shortly for the details after this break.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444-726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
The details. National Development Planning Minister Alexander Chteme says the COVID-19 pandemic has brought new needs for digital government services and more demand on the existing ones. Mr. Chteme explains that working in the new normal requires adequate administration tools to upscale the digital platforms, such as the usage of virtual meetings, reduce on paper and improve on electronic transactions. The minister was speaking at a handover ceremony of 60 computers to his ministry by the United Nations. We have more in this report.
Government and other cooperating partners is striving to ensure that the conducive environment is created for various offices to operate efficiently amidst the COVID-19 with reduced physical contact. This requires an upscaled information communications technology system for things to move accordingly. It is in this vein that the United Nations has handed over 60 computers to government to help alleviate digital disruptions in the provisions of important services to the public by government. National Planning Minister Alexander Chteme was at hand to receive the items and says the computers have come at an opportune time.
That the COVID-19 has transformed the way we conduct business. This entails that we have to adopt new ways of conducting government business, change the way we interact with our clients and stakeholders. The COVID-19 crisis has therefore brought new needs for digital government services and more demand on existing digital services. However, the new normal requires adequate administrative tools to upscale the usage of digital platforms such as virtual meetings as opposed to physical interactions, reduction on the paper and transacting electronically with stakeholders.
And Smart Zambia National Coordinator Martin Mtonga says the ICT equipment will change the trajectory of business continuity in government despite being affected by the COVID-19.
The ICT equipment will go a long way in alleviating human-to-human contact and spearhead digital transformation in our government. Allow me also to express my sincere gratitude to the Minister of National Development Planning and his team who are coordinating this project, which aims at ensuring government officers are able to work from anywhere in the country in the midst of the COVID-19.
Meanwhile, United Nations Development Programme Resident Coordinator Mr. Lionel Lawrence says UN supports government in its quest to improve digital spaces as measures to fight the COVID-19. Mr. Lawrence says the COVID-19 has demonstrated the need for digital space, hence making such contributions.
Digital technology has played a critical role in the fight against COVID-19 and will have an even greater role in the preparations for the new normal as governments and communities brace themselves for life under the omnipresence of the threats posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. This reminds us about the importance of pursuing the digital acceleration for people and society, where disrupting usual development paradigm with innovation will help close the digital divide in the key groups of the population, such as youth and women.
The computers will be shared amongst 8 government departments, including the Ministries of Local Government, Works and Supply, Home Affairs, Health and Smart Zambia, among others. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Opposition New Congress Party President Peter Chanda, who sympathizes with the PF, says his fellow opposition leaders and members must be out of their minds to think that there is a wind of political change in Zambia. Mr. Chanda says the opposition must just join forces with the PF in delivering development to the Zambian people. We have more in this report.
So I want to state that any other political leader that does not talk about economic emancipation for our people is not worth to be voted for. Those that are just aiming at removing the Patriotic Front, for what? When the time comes where people want a change of government, they will speak. At the moment, let's give the Patriotic Front and President Lungu a chance. Party in Tanzania, changing leadership. It is policy consistency that has built Botswana. That's why we have the same party that won the independence in Botswana, presiding over the country. It is policy consistency that is making South Africa to be stable economically. We still have the ANC presiding, but changing leadership. President Lungu is not meant to stay in office forever. He has the last chance to stand in 2021, and his tenure ends in 2026, and I want to state it is after 2026 that the Zambian people should be able to think of electing a new leader. Let's allow President Lungu to exhaust his vision that is already working. We can see the Lusaka decongestion. We can see the massive developmental projects that are happening. We can see the developmental projects right now. The president.
A ruling Patriotic Front PF member has advised his party against sowing seeds of hatred and division in the country. Mr. Thabo Kawana says it is wrong for government officials to begin drawing political lines over a simple issue which transpired in Monze district of Southern Province. Mr. Kawana says what the opposition United Party for National Development UPND cadres did was not wrong, as they were only exercising their political rights. Mr. Kawana said this when he participated on the Camnet breakfast show via telephone Thursday morning.
The ruling Patriotic Front PF rank and file has continued to cry about the alleged booing of President Edgar Chagwa Lungu while in Monze recently. However, one of their own, Thabo Kawana, advises his party functionaries to stop the crybaby attitude and says what happened in Monze is nothing but just mere politics.
Really, what transpired in Monze, there is nothing wrong with that. It's part of democracy. It is their strong, it's UPN's strong state. So if we are going to have a minister, Lusambo, saying, for example, that the battle lines have been drawn, I want to believe he's speaking for himself. Which battle lines? Drawn against what? In any democracy, that's what happens. There are two things that happen when you're a leader and you step out in public. You get a signal of
positive
approval,
feedback
or you get
or negative
a signal of disapproval. And also you may get a third one, which would be a signal to show you where you are.
Right.
So if you are in an area which is a stronghold for a certain particular party, they'll show you that you are here, this is where we are. It is a normal thing in democracy. I don't know why we're making a big issue out of it, but I'll tell you that really what transpired in Monze is nothing out of the ordinary. Anywhere you go in this country or in the world, there are people that will approve of you or disapprove of you, depending on you.
Lusaka Province Minister Boma Nusambo says as a result of what happened in Monze, the UPND has drawn political battle lines and will be met with full force. But Mr. Kawana counsels Mr. Lusambo to start behaving like a leader and not like a common cadre, saying the minister's words threatens the peace, security and unity of the country.
My minister's statement is irresponsible. You cannot talk like that. You cannot begin to divide the country and say you can't come here and come there. It is not correct. I think let's move forward. Politics aside, we are one Zambia, one nation, and we are competitors in politics. So if, for example, a leader of an opposition goes in a stronghold where my party is very strong, ours is not to hinder them, ours is not to stop them, ours is to show them our symbol, ours is to show them that this is a PF stronghold, ours is when they put up their hands to show their symbol, we put back our hands to show our symbol, to show them that no, here is us. That is democracy. But not to say you are not welcome here, you can't come here, we have crossed the country here. That is disunity. And those jokes cannot be tolerated. And I just want to caution leaders, both sides of the debate. We can't operate like that. We can't have each time we have a small difference. You can't do that.
He is also concerned with President Edgar Lungu's handlers, whom he says are messing him up to the extent that soon they will start importing pictures from Dubai to depict the development in Mongu. Mr. Kawana made these remarks when he participated on the Camnet breakfast show via telephone Thursday morning. UPND's Lusaka District Chairman Sevian Dava was present in the studio.
We cannot have people, ministers, members of the Patriotic Front getting busy with the Boeing thing. I mean, that's petty. There are more serious issues that need attention of the citizens. There's unemployment. Just now, Connie, if I'm to tell you, do find out the statistics, go into the compound and find out how many people have committed suicide because of the current state of the situation that we are in, the current state of our economy.
Kalan Muchima reporting for Camnet News in Lusaka.
Meanwhile, Movement for Multi-Party Democracy, MMD President Neves Mumba, says the alleged bullying on President Edgar Lungu by the UPND is regrettable. Dr. Mumba says his party believes in a plural politics and the respect of divergent views. He further states that his party believes in respecting the presidency as an institution which belongs to the Zambian people. Dr. Mumba goes on to say that the alleged bullying of President Lungu is most unfortunate as it sows a seed which shall germinate in the future administrations. The MMD leader has also condemned the PAF's insinuations to restrict the movement of the UPND and its president Hakainde Hichilema into northern and Copperbelt parts of the country, saying it is not only retrogressive but dangerous to the security of the nation. He says Zambia cannot be held at ransom by political parties that seek to divide the nation. This is according to a statement made available to Camnet TV by Dr. Neves Mumba. And moving on in other news, the Center for Trade Policy and Development, CTPD, has implored government to render more support to its local entrepreneurs as opposed to focusing more on foreign investors. CTPD Executive Director Isaac Mwaipopo has noted that over the years, government has been neglecting its own local investors while prioritizing foreign-owned businesses. We have more in this report.
The Center for Trade Policy and Development, CTPD, has observed that local investors have not been prioritized in Zambia. Following a number of broken agreements between ZESCO, Copperbelt Energy Corporation CEC, and the mines, CTPD Executive Director Isaac Mwaipopo notes that the unstable agreements would easily discourage foreign potential investors, as he further calls on empowering the local ones.
So, looking at the investment climate in our country, there's still a lot that needs to be done to ensure that we attract investment, especially local investment. It is quite sad to observe that when it comes to investment, our priority has been to attract foreign direct investment. But from the Center for Trade Policy and Development, we think that we need to do more to attract local investors. That way will strengthen our local economy.
Mr. Mwaipopo calls on government to create room for the local investors by breaking all barriers surrounding them for a stable economy.
And some of the key things that we need to deal with in order to ensure that we incentivize or create local investors is to ensure that we allow them to have access to initiatives such as the multi-facility economic zone. We need to work around addressing some of the barriers some of the local players have been facing towards accessing such brilliant initiatives. We also need to look at factors such as the resources. To what extent do they have access to resources that can work around empowering some of our locals? In that case, we are talking about facilitation. Key institutions like the Zambia Development Agency should work hand in hand with potential local investors to facilitate trade, to facilitate businesses, so that Zambian entrepreneurs can also grow and thrive. In that way, they can contribute towards employment creation. They can also contribute towards strengthening the local economy, which has been dependent on the production and exportation of copper for over 100 years.
Reporting for Camnet Television in Lusaka, Zambia, Namwinga Mwinga.
Chief Resident Magistrate Lamek Mwale was on Thursday forced to adjourn the corruption case of Health Minister Chitalu Chilufya due to the unruly behavior of cadres who escorted him to court. The cadres wanted to enter the courtroom for the case, but due to the coronavirus, they were not allowed to do so, but they insisted. At this point, Magistrate Mwale was forced to adjourn the matter to the 16th of July 2020 for plea. We have more in this report.
Court premises are supposed to be approached with caution and silence as proceedings are always in progress. However, cadres who went to offer solidarity to Health Minister Dr. Chitalu Chilufya could not respect this order as they turned the Lusaka Magistrate Court into a political ground. These are the little actions those in the opposition complain about, because if these were cadres from the opposition, armored police vehicles would have arrived within seconds and tear gas smoke would have rained. I'm sure the police are blind to this. Dr. Chilufya's case could not even take off because of the unruly behavior of cadres who escorted him to court. In view of the COVID-19 pandemic, measures have been put in place to fight it, among them limiting the number of people at a particular place, but Dr. Chilufya's cadres wanted to force themselves in the courtroom. Chief Resident Magistrate Lamek Mwale was forced to adjourn the matter to the 16th of July 2020 due to the same confusion. On the 24th of June 2020, the Anti-Corruption Commission, ACC, arrested Health Minister Dr. Chitalu Chilufya and charged him with 4 counts of possessing property suspected to be proceeds of crime. Dr. Chilufya is accused of having acquired properties in Zambia and in Dubai using stolen money. Others who accompanied the minister to court include Chief Kalasa Mukoso of the Nakavende People of Sanfia District, Chief Lukangaba, Chief Kalaba, and Chief Mibenge, including Muchinga Province Minister Malozo Sichone. Kalan Muchima reporting for Camnet News in Osaka.
For now, we take a break, but do join us shortly for more interesting stories lined up for you.
You know I can take her a break.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, man. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. Civil society scaling up nutrition is calling on government and cooperating partners to render support to health facilities in Lunga district by expanding the nutritional programs. Addressing the media in Lusaka Thursday, organization national coordinator Matthews Muhuru says a tour conducted in Lunga district makes sad reading in relation to food security. Mr. Muhuru notes that Lunga district, being an area that is prone to floods, makes it difficult for people to cultivate any crops. He says government should expand their agriculture activity by supplying them with agricultural inputs as well as establishing behavior change programs so as to reduce their dependency on fishing. Meanwhile, Mr. Muhuru says government should diversify its relief food away from the usual maize, which he says has done little to help enhance the nutritional needs of the people.
On a daily basis, Civil Society Scaling Up Nutrition CSO-SAN conducted a survey and the findings were not pleasing. According to the findings, Lunga district did not harvest any maize or cassava this year due to the floods, resulting in farmers harvesting literally nothing from their fields. This is a drawback in the fight against malnutrition, especially in children. Matthews Muru, CSO-SAN National Coordinator, addressed the media on Thursday.
With the stagnation of, just the crop fields that people would have, labored just to secure their households and their district food security, that compromises their food needs as well as their nutritional status. So one of the findings is that, the only crop that seemed to have survived, even though not to a larger extent, is rice. So the people of Lunga district are only left, with one particular crop, which is rice, to feed them. And knowing that there are water bodies surrounding Lunga, some fishing activities here and there would be happening. But I think this becomes also a danger when you look at just the nutritional needs of the different populations and the different age groups and the different vulnerabilities. So for children who will be under the age of 5, this becomes a very, very difficult position, because now you are only providing carbohydrates and you are only providing the protein that would come from fish. Lunga is a district that has no food market, so in the situation that crop fields have been submerged, people cannot easily trade and get the other foods that would supplement their dietary needs.
And Mr. Moro also commented on the basic needs and nutrition basket as released by the Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection, which currently stands at 7,060 kwacha. He says this will make people buy unhealthy foods just to fill up the month, owing to the fact that very few people earn as much.
Now, later on is that, you just start seeing, all the gains that we've made so far as a country in addressing the challenges of malnutrition being washed away. The Demographic Health Survey indicates that chronic malnutrition is currently at 35%, but our findings in Lunga, our findings in some other parts of the country where food insecurity has been the case, is that if an assessment was to be done now, you'd realize that chronic malnutrition is actually at a different level, which is worse off than it was before all these challenges of food insecurity the country has had. So this is not just happening in the rural community where floods and droughts are being the case of the day. It's also happening in the urban areas where people are thrown out of employment, SMEs cannot trade because of COVID restrictions, just the economic conditions are not really suitable for somebody to earn a 7,000 kwacha plus that would be needed just for their basic needs and nutrition, because they have other commitments that they would have. So all of this is a very, very bad situation that will just make it very hard for Zambia to really deal with the challenges of malnutrition.
Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Alliance partners of the opposition United Party for National Development UPND and the National Democratic Congress NDC party have opted to field separate candidates in the Katete ward by-elections in Chiyengi district of Luapula province. The NDC are fielding Kalonga James as its preferred candidate, while the UPND have fielded Kapotwe Rabon as its candidate. Lombe Benson is the torchbearer for the ruling Patriotic Front PF. The UPND and NDC have in previous elections fielded single candidates as a way of strengthening the alliance. However, when they decided to field different candidates, they claim they are not in any political pact. The decision for the two parties to field separate candidates casts another doubt on the alliance, which has been calling for a single presidential candidate in the 2021 general elections. In Kasempa's Lubofu ward, Kabinda Joffrey is standing on the PF ticket, while Chilunga Sydney is the UPND's candidate. The local government by-elections are being conducted in wards of Serenje, Chavuma, Chiyenge, Kasempa, Limulunga, Mongu, Sesheke and Siyoma town councils in central, northwestern, Luapula and western provinces. The elections have been necessitated by resignations and deaths of incumbent councillors. The polls will be conducted on Thursday, 30th July 2020.
Appointed for the receipt of nominations of candidates for the forthcoming councillor elections in Wofu Ward. I have received the following valid nominations. Names of candidates: Kivinda Geoffrey, Patriotic Front, Simbo, Vote. Candidate Chilonga Sydney, UPND, Simbo, palm raised with thumb. I have not rejected as invalid any nomination papers. I certify that I've carried out my duties as elections officer in accordance with the provisions of the Electoral General Regulations 2016.
Kivinda Geoffrey. Kivinda Geoffrey.
The Patriots for Economic Progress, PEP, is disappointed with the continued mishandling of President Edgar Lungu by his officers. PEP President Sean Tembo wonders how the whole lot of the presidency would settle to use foreign works and attribute it to his government. Mr. Tembo says such acts clearly shows that the PF government under President Edgar Lungu is not proud of its own works. He says it's either the PF are delivering substandard works to the nation, or it is ashamed to show its developmental works to the outside world. President Edgar Lungu has become a laughingstock when he uploaded pictures on his Facebook depicting progress of the Kafue-Mazabuka Road, and yet the pictures in question are from Nigeria, prompting the head of state to pull down the pictures.
As patriots for economic progress, we are very disappointed with the latest revelations that President Lungu has been posting pictures on his Facebook page which are actually not genuine. These pictures are about development projects which are alleged to have taken place in Zambia, when in fact not. Those pictures were later found to have emerged from Nigeria, from Israel, and others from India. And the overall impact of such fake pictures is that it is portraying an incorrect image that the PF government and President Lungu have brought significant development to this country, when in fact not. The only thing that the PF have brought to this country is poverty, misery, corruption, and political violence. Those are the only things that they've brought to this country. And therefore, such fraudulent conduct is totally regrettable. And on this basis, we wish to call upon opposition members of parliament to consider constituting a select committee to investigate the extent of such fake pictures by the president. Thank you.
Mazabuka Central Member of Parliament Gary Nkombo has regretted statements issued by Zambia Correctional Service Commissioner General Chileshe Chisela while in Monze. Dr. Chisela said the opposition must not be allowed around prison premises as they do not want to work with President Edgar Lungu's government. Dr. Chisela further said the opposition are not interested to serve the people who elected them, but instead are interested in their own personal gains. Mr. Nkombo says such statements are in bad faith, especially that the person issuing them is a high-ranking government official from a security wing. We have more in this report.
6th of June, Commissioner General of Prisons Chisela Chileshe was seen in a video saying opposition political parties will not be allowed to enter prisons because UPND officials did not go to appreciate the commissioning of police houses which were being handed over by the Republican President of Zambia, Edgar Lungu, in some parts of Southern Province.
Being portrayed by these so-called politicians that even when you see development coming in your area, you are unable to appreciate. What type of hatred is that we are seeing? And it is the reason why that Your Excellency, my officers, who are uniformed and trained to be loyal, have been directed that we will never entertain anyone to enter in this facility if they are unable to support you to come and support on our officers.
Now, this has raised eyebrows from the opposition side as they question what powers the commissioner has. Mazabuka Central Member of Parliament Gary Nkombo says Chileshe's statement is primitive. Speaking at a press conference held in Lusaka today, Nkombo says it was already concluded prisoners will vote in the upcoming 2021 general elections. Hence, the opposition have every right to enter prisons and campaign to the prisoners.
PF had brought so much development in building prisons, and that those of us who are opposing PF should not be allowed to access prisons, especially now that you know there is a court judgment against the Electoral Commission of Zambia to the effect that prisoners are going to be allowed to vote. We find that pronouncement by Dr. Chileshe Chisela to be extremely primitive, a very primitive statement, outdated thinking from a man who we think should stay in his lane as a prison warder.
When questioned whether the opposition feel intimidated by his statement, this was his response.
Do you know, some of us are fortunate because threats, fear do not exist in our DNA. And this is why I have decided today to call the Commissioner of Prison just a prison warder who is getting money from the taxpayer, who has no right to speak in the manner that he spoke. He has no right to think that UPND and other political parties cannot go by virtue of that court judgment from Constitutional Court where prisoners are going to be allowed to vote. So we will have to have access. Don't forget, there's nothing that intimidates some of us about prison because we've lived there before.
Constance Mwemba reporting for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
For now, we take a break, but do stay tuned as we have international and sports news. Do not go away.
Stay home, stay safe. Times have changed. With the advent of the coronavirus, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company would like to advise its esteemed customers to avoid visiting crowded places. You don't have to move to pay your water bill. You can do it in the convenience of your home. You can pay your water bills through Zanaco Zapit, Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and FNB. You can also use Airtel, MTN, and Zamtel Kwacha mobile money transfer services. For any inquiries to report a fault, please contact our customer service on +260 211 251 571, +260 975 618 618, and toll-free line 5957, Zamtel only. You can also simply email customerservice@lwsc.com. This public announcement is brought to you by the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company. Water is life. Sanitation is health.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099, +260 962 444 726, or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. In international news, Ivory Coast Prime Minister Amadou Gon Coulibaly has died after falling ill at a ministerial meeting. The 61-year-old had been chosen as the ruling party's candidate for October's presidential election after Alassane Ouattara said he would not seek a third term in office. Mr. Gon Coulibaly had only just returned from France, where he had received 2 months heart treatment. President Ouattara said the country was in mourning. He said Mr. Gon Coulibaly had become unwell during a weekly cabinet meeting and was taken to hospital, where he later died. He had received a heart transplant in 2012 and had traveled to Paris on the 2nd of May for the insertion of a stent. He returned last Thursday saying, "I am back to take my place by the side of the president to continue the task of developing and building our country." Mr. Gon Coulibaly was among the favorites to win the presidential election. And moving on in sports news, FAS President Andrew Kamanga says his executive has placed a high premium on coach education. Speaking during the official opening of a goalkeeping course for coaches for the Super League and National Division 1, Kamanga said coach education was a catalyst for football development. Kamanga said the program was the first of many that will also be spread to lower division clubs. Kamanga said investing in the grassroots speaks to the 10-year strategic plan. Goalkeeper coach Miroslav Stochnik is at the heart of the program, having already left a footprint in the native Croatia and other European countries he had previously served. That sports item brings us to the end of Camnet TV World News. But before we go, a look at the headlines. Corruption accused Chitalu Chilufya appears in court. Opposition leader says there is no wind of change as he maintains support for PF. NDC and UPND field separate candidates in Chiengi Council election. And in international news, Ivory Coast Prime Minister Amadou Gon Coulibaly dies aged 61. And in sports news, Kamanga launches high-level goalkeeping course for clubs. But before we go, we look at the scripture of the day, which is coming from the book of Mark 10:27, and it reads, Jesus looked at them and said, with man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. That verse brings us to the end of the news. This has been Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga as your anchor. God bless.